I'm Julia Pfister, and I lecture in art history for Oasis. Well, while I have a degree in fine art and a master's degree in art history, my first degree was actually in finance. And I was an investment banker and also in natural gas and petroleum lending at a bank in Houston, Texas. So quite an interesting way to start out, and as much as I loved finance, which was not that much, I just really felt the need to go into art, and so started in art school and then went on to get my master's a few years later even. But in my current position as the executive director of a nonprofit, having that finance side actually really helps out with all the budgeting and reading the financial statements and things like that. But not too many people know that I used to be in investment banking. I was actually born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri, right in the middle of the Midwest, and then actually went east for college, but had always had a dream to come out to California. And so finally in my early 30s, I packed up the car and drove on out here, and am so happy to be here. Can't imagine ever living back in the Midwest ever again. Well, I was actually getting my master's in art history at San Diego State, and this was in the like 2008, 2009. And a friend of mine used to lecture here, and she was leaving town, so she offered that I could come in and lecture for Oasis. So I did quite a few for a few years, and then I wound up moving away, came back again, was re-asked, and here I am today, and so happy to be here at Oasis.
I'm Eddie Omens, and I teach watercolor at Oasis San Diego. First car was a Beetle, a little bug. It was a 1960, what was it? No, it was a 1957 Volkswagen Beetle. And I got it to be able to go to the University of Illinois at Navy Pier. And it was about $1,500, and I would pick up about 6 other friends who were also going to University of Illinois, and we'd all pile into the car and look for a parking spot. And if we found one that was just looked kind of too tiny, I'd parallel to the spot, and everybody would get out, lift up the car, and slide it over and set it down next to the curb into the parking spot. And if we hit snowbanks, they would get out and kind of just push me over the snowbanks. And it was a great car. It didn't have a gas gauge, so when you ran out of gas, you flipped a switch and it would open up an auxiliary tank, and you'd get another, 30, 40 miles out of the car. Well, one of the things that I liked about watercolor is that when I met my son-in-law, who was a psychiatrist, and he did watercolor, and he liked it because if he did oil, his fingernails would get dirty from the oil, and it didn't look good. So watercolor washes away, so you don't have to see patients with dirty hands. And so watercolor washes away. My first watercolor class actually was here at Oasis a long time ago, and I found myself enjoying the media. You don't need a lot of equipment, a couple of brushes, a couple of colors of paint. This will be a little revealing, maybe too revealing, but it helps me feel significant. Because when you retire, you lose a lot of your significance. You lose your social contacts, you lose your self-esteem. And they talk about retiring, and there's a lot talking about the financial aspect. Are you prepared for retirement? Do you have enough money so you could live the way you want to live? But they don't talk about the fact that especially for men, who don't necessarily have a big social network. When you retire, you don't have that. All that's gone. And otherwise you're following your wife around Costco, and you don't know, you paint the back fence 2 or 3 times, and like, what do you do? Look at your granite countertop. So I love that other people enjoy what I'm teaching, that they're learning, that they're getting the satisfaction that I've got out of painting. the ability to relax, the ability to see, the feeling of living in the moment, of creating some work, whether or not the result is what you want, but it's the process.
When you arrive at our centers, volunteers greet you.
Can I help you?
Check you in for your classes, answer your registration questions, and call you with program updates. Volunteers also help with special projects from time to time. If you have attended one of our online classes, you likely have noticed our Zoom host volunteers who work behind the scenes to help classes run smoothly. In our Digital Divide program, participants, who are often first-time technology users, rely on volunteers to help them learn the basics of using a tablet. Training will be provided for all volunteer roles. We are excited to have you as part of our awesome volunteer team.
Hi, my name is Shinja Scheidnes, and I teach Asian art at San Diego Oasis. I originally was an ICU nurse when I was young, very young, and then 12-hour shift came to hospitals and I had to move out. So I became a teacher in San Diego Unified School District, so I taught Lincoln High School, and then I later became Mira Mesa High School counselor and other school level counselors. And originally, I never thought I'll be an artist, but I always loved art museums, and that's where I started to learn. And then I started learning, becoming an artist after retirement, and I really liked it and discovered that I can do it. My favorite artist is Renoir, who always painted so well about human expression. Happy people look happy, falling in love, men falling in love. I just loved the way he expressed his subjects. But then originally I started Asian art, and the Asian art difference from the watercolor is a brush skills. So I practiced it. There is a famous term: to make a perfect bamboo leaf, you have to make 10,000 times practice. That's Chinese teaching. So I did. I practiced. Then I realized I love the colors. So I did color and I became watercolorist. I learned originally Oasis. One of staff came to my husband's Optimist meeting, and he came home. There is an Oasis starting in Grossman Shopping Mall. Really? Well, I looked into it. I loved it, this setup. So I volunteered to ask if I could teach substituting, and the invitation was good. So I started to teach, but then I was told to teach regularly, not substitute. So I can do that. So because I taught in a community college level, the art substitute, so I became comfortable to do that. And when I started Oasis, I loved all age, the seniors above 50, which I belong to very well. And then I really loved the younger, I call baby seniors. They just retired early or whatever, and they were eager to be artists. So I had a dream for them, future famous artists.
Hi, my name is Gwenyth Mapes. I'm a professor of humanities, and for Oasis I teach such courses as Frida Kahlo and her art and the philosophies and art of Confucius. I had been teaching at the University of Montana, and there are wonderful things there, but they have really long winters. And I got to a point in my life where I thought, I want to go someplace that I want to live, that has easy access in and out to multicultural travel and availabilities in the community. And so I started looking at where I wanted to live, and there was a job that I applied for in San Diego, and came down and applied. Actually, I applied, came down and interviewed, and then I got the job. It's not including babysitting and lawn mowing. My first real job, I guess you could say, was in a mall at a bakery. And I worked it through high school with another job actually. But the bakery job, when they had day-old breads that didn't sell, they threw them away unless we who worked there wanted to take them home. So I literally took lots of breads and took them to home, and if my parents didn't want them, I took them to school and started handing out day-old breads. I have loved the feedback from students in forms of both questions, really sharp questions, and other people's responses that weren't questions either to me or to each other. So even though it's all been virtual up to now, we managed to create interactions that meant a great deal to me.
Hi, my name is Brandon Harding, Director of Lifelong Learning at San Diego Oasis. Thank you so much for watching our video. Please like and subscribe for future updates and help our channel grow. Once again, thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day.